Veronica's Girls' Night Out is the 16th episode of the 3rd season of Veronica's Closet, and I really like this episode. I don't actually have that many specific thoughts on this. I feel like the next episodes are going to be more interesting as we kind of go further towards the wedding. This is the first time I've really taken an active interest in Josh and Chloe's wedding, and maybe also Chloe as a character. So there will be some spoilers as I talk about things in this episode, but as I said, I don't have that many thoughts. But this is, of course, in the run-up to Josh and Chloe's wedding, and they're having bachelor and bachelorette parties. Ronnie and Olive are giving Chloe a makeover, and then they give her beer, even though she initially said no because it makes her crazy. She drinks the beer, and then we get to know Chloe, and I thought it was a pretty interesting way to take things. I really started to like Chloe as a character here. That's not to say I disliked her up until this point. I just feel like she was kind of mundane. She wasn't that interesting. But here I actually started to really like her as a character, and also to take an interest in the wedding. I guess because we're getting closer to it. We then, of course, have Josh's bachelor party. And this mostly came about because Bree convinced him to have the bachelor party, and it's definitely going to be very Josh style to begin with. So Chloe asks Leo and Perry to spice it up a bit. And my thought there is kind of that Chloe doesn't know Josh well enough. And that's a bit of a concern, because the bachelor party that Josh and Bree were planning is something that Josh would have liked. Whereas when Chloe asks Leo and Perry for help with it, to make it, as she said, spice it up, that's kind of indicating that they're going to have a more traditional bachelor party. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. And that's not what Josh would want. So I feel like Chloe doesn't know her fiancé well enough, which is kind of awkward. They do ultimately have this more traditional bachelor party with a stripper, and Josh's discomfort is so apparent. And it's really awkward because he's clearly not enjoying this. And we do have some comedy, though, here with, in particular, the Glee Club members singing a cappella for the stripper to strip to. I'd be willing to bet good money that a stripper has never stripped to a cappella before. So that was pretty interesting. It's certainly a well-done scene, or a couple of scenes as we go back and forth to it. But it's also not really the most pleasant with regards to how Josh's character is feeling, and it's certainly very interesting. And I'm keen to see what happens going forward, but I'll say no more until I get to those episodes. Unfortunately, we only have, I think, 6 episodes left from the entire show, which is obviously pretty heartbreaking, but I'm looking forward to them. Keen to see what happens. This episode was definitely the first time I took an interest in Josh and Chloe's wedding, and honestly, I cannot wait to find out what happens next.